Hello and welcome to another installment of the Red Shadow Watches the X-Files, and this time around we were on episode 3 of the first season, if you count the pilot as episode 1. I'm probably jostling the order of the episodes because of that, but I still view it as the third episode. So with that in mind, the episode was entitled Squeeze, and it was the first Monster of the Week episode of the X-Files. For people who maybe don't know or follow the X-Files that closely, there were mythology episodes, which the previous two had been, and then the episodes that didn't have anything to do with aliens, UFOs, and the government conspiracy to conceal the existence of such. If it wasn't based on that, the mythology of the show, then it was called a Monster of the Week episode, or sometimes just standalones, but obviously Monster of the Week sounds a whole lot better. And in this one, they introduced, almost like right off the bat, one of the most creepy and iconic characters. I wanted to call him a creature. I guess in a way he almost could be, but it was Eugene Toombs. Eugene Victor Toombs, is that his full name? I'm not 100% prepared for this, as usual. Yeah, Eugene Victor Toombs. I don't know why I didn't rely on my wonderful X-Files memory. But the character Eugene Victor Toombs, he was the killer, so to speak, in this episode, that Mulder and Scully were basically led onto by an agent who was an acquaintance of Scully's, an agent played by Donald Logue. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. I've never been 100% sure on how to pronounce his name. Donald Logue, I'm sure people would probably know him from a lot of other things, but I'm going to look him up real quick. I became aware of the actor Donald Logue from MTV and these strange commercials that he did, the cab driver in the early 90s. But of course he's done tons of movies and TV shows, and he did this role of this Agent Tom Colton, who came to Scully to inquire about this case and see if she could help him out a little bit. Maybe even run it by Mulder, since he was a little baffled by this case and he wanted somebody who might grasp things a little better. But of course, during the whole course of the episode, it was just the other agents in the office and in and around, where they worked, just kind of dragging Mulder through the mud, bringing up his spooky nickname and all that, making fun of his thoughts on aliens and whatnot. Anyway, that's how they stumble into the case of this guy, Eugene Victor Toombs, who was played by Doug Hutchison, who is an actor who's done a lot of stuff as well. I mean, I was just reading up on him. He's been in 24. He's been in a lot of other shows and movies, but I remember him, aside from this role, I remember him from two other roles. One as Percy Wetmore, I believe was the name of his character in The Green Mile, which starred Tom Hanks, and as Michael Clark Duncan. Once again, not feeling very prepared, but he played a weasel of a character in that movie, and it was so befitting his fate in that movie. But Green Mile is an awesome movie, so I don't want to give away anything if a person hasn't seen it. Just go watch it. You will hate Percy Wetmore just like I did. And then later on, Doug Hutchison was in Lost. He was on, I believe it was 7 episodes. Horace, I can't remember the name, I just looked at it too. In Lost, his character's name was Horace Goodspeed. I'll be talking about Lost at another time. I kind of hinted at that in my last video too. But it was cool to see him pop up in that movie or that television series and not necessarily be a bad guy in that one. But in the X-Files episode Squeeze, he is just a nasty, scary creature / character who basically hibernates for roughly 30 years and then comes up out of his hibernation and re-enters society for a short period of time, long enough to kill people and literally rip their livers out of their bodies and consume them, and then go back into hibernation. Now, for the first time ever, in the number of times I've watched this episode, today I thought to myself, how convenient it must be for this guy who literally makes his own like little nest of newspaper and magazine clippings put together with his own stomach bile that he then crawls into and sleeps in for 30 years. He never gets bothered. His nest is in like an abandoned building, but he never gets bothered by anybody during those 30 years. And then he's able to come out and rejoin society, get a job, do all that kind of stuff, despite most of his records not being there, even though Mulder finds records for him going all the way back to 1903. And yet, you know, like I said, he's able to get a job without having any issues with ID or anything like that. It's kind of weird, but, you know, the suspension of disbelief has to be there. You have to just, hey, just kick back and watch the show and enjoy it. And it's a very, like I said, that role, his the way he portrays his character, the looks on his face, he's just like a little animal almost. Very little dialogue by him, just talks a little bit when he's been given a polygraph test, and not much beyond that. Otherwise, he's just like leering at his victims, and he can, because of the title of the episode, he can squeeze his way into things, chimneys, ventilation shafts, you know, ventilation ducts, and like he can worm his way through there, like I don't know what it is. People can kind of like throw their limbs and joints out of whack so that they can bend and move in certain ways. That's what he could do. So the idea that you could lock all your doors, you could have bars on your windows, you could have a security system, and this guy could find his way in through other means and get to you, and he, like, unlike some of the killers and creatures in the X-Files, this guy wasn't singling people out for any specific reason. It was just he saw somebody, he decided that's who he wanted to take, and so that's who he went after. Pretty scary stuff. A really good episode. As I watch these first few episodes again, I'm baffled sometimes at just how much I look down on season 1. There are some bad episodes, and it looks old. It looks like low budget almost when compared to the way the rest of the series, like later seasons, and especially after like seasons 4 or 5. Well, and I guess really especially after they moved to L.A., you know, some of the later seasons of the show, if I remember correctly, were literally filmed for high definition. And we're talking like late 90s, early 2000s. It's pretty amazing. But anyway, first season has its knocks. It's, you know, it's them getting their footing and whatnot. But they really opened up the show with some really good episodes. We'll get into some episodes that aren't that great within the next 5 or 10 episodes in the first season. But for right now, they laid the groundwork for creating some very good mythology stories and some amazing Monster of the Week episodes. And it won't be until the second season before we start to see the first of the comedy episodes, but even those are amazing. And I can't stress enough in this series that if you're interested in the X-Files and you haven't watched it, just go watch it. Don't even wait to like hear what I have to say about episodes. Just go catch the series. It's 9 seasons. It's like 201 episodes altogether. It's a big investment, but it's worth it if you're a person that likes sci-fi, if you like mystery, if you like supernatural stuff, this is kind of the show that gave us things like Supernatural. It gave us things like Fringe. It also gave us a lot of the things that you see in quite a few of the crime and police procedurals. I don't know. X-Files is it's an iconic show. It's always been counted high as one of the most popular cult favorites in TV. I can't stress it enough. This whole series, if nothing else, it's just a love letter from me to Chris Carter, to David Duchovny, to Gillian Anderson, to all the writers, the directors, all the actors, all the other characters who were in the show. It's just my way of saying how much I love this series. It's why it's my favorite series of all time. And I still want to see a third movie, and I still want to see the entire series get released on Blu-ray. I can only hope and pray that it happens someday. But I guess that's going to do it for me. Squeeze, first Monster of the Week episode in the X-Files, and it's amazing. It's a great show with an iconic creature character, and I'm excited to watch some more, and excited that I didn't wait another 3 or 4 months in between episodes. Pretty awesome, huh? So thanks a lot for watching this series, and stay tuned for more, and quite soon.